Yo, what's good? What's good, people? Hey, it's your boy, Minds Maturity. We got another episode of CanBo Greens. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, tonight we're going to talk about free range versus strict parenting. I think this is a good topic for tonight. I wanted to toss it up, change it up, you know what I'm saying? Make things on a get on a different scale. I know we normally talk about like politics, relationships, and life as in general, but we haven't really had a topic just on parenting. And I feel like tonight would be a good night. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is definitely gonna be a good night to have this talk. And along with the talk, I'm gonna do a little commentary. It's gonna be visual, it's gonna be audio only because I'm not gonna do the whole video part of it because hey man, I don't know how YouTube is. Then they stay blocking stuff, so they funny with the content that you know what I'm saying that we talk about and present. So I'm gonna make that strictly a audio type of thing. When it comes to that note, and I'm gonna play a few minutes here and there, talk about it, break it down, give my inputs, present my bullet points and whatnot that I have presented as well. So, um, even before I get to that, and we're gonna do a little advertising. We'll do a little advertising. Hey, check out your boy CanBo Greens on YouTube, on Twitch. Also, check out our show, Gooching It. Check it out. Check it out. My boy Mario Gooch. We do that from time to time. We get together, we chop it up. You know what I'm saying? We do the back and forth thing. Check it out also on YouTube as well. But also we got content on Facebook for Gucci and Campbell Greens. So check us out. We got the product massage oil, 32 ounce, $25. Tincture oil, 2 ounces for 15. And then finally we got the CBD flower if you want to get your smoke on and you don't want to do the drops. You know what I'm saying? You can get together and we burn one together. You know what I'm saying? We could burn one. So yeah, definitely check out the product on the website. Also, you get a DM me, send my boy Mario Gooch or also Deneen. All the guys on my thing, we got the product on deck. We can ship it to you, deliver it to you, however you want it. So let's have fun. Let's have fun. We're gonna do a little story time. All right. As a kid, I was very all over the place. Couldn't stay still. Didn't know how to stay still. Matter of fact, I didn't even understand the word "stand still." You know what I'm saying? I was very wild child, very opinionated. Had my own opinions, had my own ideas, had my, you know what I'm saying? Just I knew what I wanted, how to say it. Didn't need no help for anything. I was a very independent type of child. But at the same time, I kind of had a sense of also understanding that it's a branch of everything to where somebody I got to listen to, abide by, and follow. But at the time, you know, since I used to challenge things and challenge life, I became more rebellious. I want to also say, like, I know as a child, as you know, I lived in a house with my, you know, grandmothers, uncles, and cousins, and everything. It was everybody had their own mindset, and we all had our own personalities, definitely. And it was always a tug of war of the minds in that household. And none of us really knew how to collectively operate under a branch of being parented on how to behave. So a lot of us just kind of figured our way out in a sense of free ranging or whatever. But the thing was, man, like as a kid, I definitely had to make a lot of decisions on my own, as well as make decisions for others as well. And it kind of helped a lot when it comes to now me as a parent, learning how to juggle the parenting, the teaching, the advisor. the therapist, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn, I am learning and have learned that there's definitely um it's a journey, man. It's just definitely a journey of learning how your kids operate, the personalities of who you deal with, and just trying to know exactly how to parent. You know what I'm saying? Every every kid have their way of operating, and you got to be able to learn to properly read the instructions and apply what you know with that kid. You know what I'm saying? But tonight I do want to talk about this show I watched on YouTube, and I actually got it from I think the big homie Mediocre and the homies are Abba and Preach. They actually do YouTube shows on there, and they always have this show called The Middle Ground where they kind of do a back and forth and discuss things. And I watched the show with Abba and Preach, and I was like, dang man, I was listening to it, and I was actually putting up a speaker, and I was listening to it, and I was like, man, like it's a good content, and so I kind of dived in, listened to it more, and I just want to let y'all listen to it as well. And like I said, I'm gonna talk following it. So hey, let's get at it from the beginning.
And as you as a parent train that child, then more freedom should be granted to make their own decisions.
But I don't think we should train our children. I feel like you train a dog and not a kid.
I think train is a good word.
I don't want a trained child.
Okay, well I do.
Maryland parents are accused of child neglect after allowing their 2 kids to walk home alone from a park about a mile away.
When you hear the term free-range parent, what do you think of?
I see a wide range within free-range parenting, but parents that basically let their kids do whatever they want, and I see that as a recipe for disaster.
When I think of a strict parent, I think of someone who might be more concerned with the behavior of the child than the heart of the child.
I actually do consider myself strict, but I want to be emotionally conscious.
We've been told by this oppressive safety.
All right, let's start from that point. When it comes to what the strict parent and what the free range parent, and before I dive into it, they talked about. I know right now a lot of people are really not even understanding what free range mean when it comes to parenting your kids. So, what we mean by free range, that means a parent that allows their kids all of the ability to make all their decisions. Like, hey, you make your decision from A to Z, even when it goes to leaving the house and coming home, like that free range of just allowing them to have all will to make every decision, and you just you support their decision no matter what it is. That's free range parenting. Strict parenting is a parenting tool that involves rules, principles, consequences, punishments. Those things is kind of is tied into strict parenting versus the free range. I personally feel that there's other types in between and around on both spectrums of those two types. But like I said, we're gonna tackle free range strict parenting. Like I said, the parent that was strict, his mindset was uh pretty much like mine. Hey, they strict parents feel like, hey, free range, a lot of their kids just do whatever they want to do. Um, Easily to be said, but and then the free range parent pretty much said that the strict parents don't really care about a kid's uh mindset or their emotions and their feelings. Like they disregard that when they make decisions. And I really don't agree with that at all. And truth be told, I didn't really agree with the strict parent as well, and what he said as well. It was a major difference on both ends. but I want to continue diving a little bit more
The
into this.
obsessed, terrified society that you can never let your kid do anything on their own, maybe till they're like 36.
It's a luxury to be a free range parent because there is a certain privilege that goes with that.
Being a strict parent, I think, first of all, I imagine stress. It should be a really fun time of your life. Why follow all these rules when you want to enjoy your kids?
Hi, I'm Hal Chafee. I have 5 kids. I'm a minister, and we live in Maryland.
I'm Christian. I am a birth and postpartum doula, as well as a newborn care specialist. I have 1 daughter who is 7.
Hi, I'm Jenny Atkins. I have 2 daughters. I'm a health coach.
I'm a minister, and we.
So can I have my free range parents on the left and my strict parents on the right?
See you later, free range parent.
Children should be trusted to make their own decisions.
So of course children should make their own decisions. I mean, we're trying to raise them to be responsible adults. If they don't make decisions, they'll never learn.
When my child is possibly going to make a bad decision, what I want to do is not tell him it's a bad decision.
All right. What she just said, I agree. I definitely agree. But I mean, come on now. Like of course we want our kids to make a lot of decisions on their own so we can prepare them as they get older. I get that. I mean, because there's a lot of things I will tell my kids, hey, do this, and will not assist them. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, hey, do that, handle that, get it done by any means necessary. Like I'm giving them some kind of guidance of what to do and where they need to get it done. And hey, you got this amount of time to get it done. Like I don't allow them to say, okay, I'm about to go do this now. And but the process of what the goal is that they need to achieve is what I push more for. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, do it by any means necessary to be successful in what it is they're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? So even when it comes to building things, breaking things, fixing things together, or cleaning things, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to micromanage them on how that, you know what I'm saying? But long as they get it done, they come get me and say, hey, it's done. And then I go inspect it, check to make sure it's good. And I give them the thumbs up. If it's not, hey, you need to get it done. It's not to the requirements and it doesn't meet my specifications of done. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with it in the sense of giving them freedom in the process. But I'm not going to give them complete freedom of their waking up, going to sleep, eating, what to eat, and things like that nature until they get a certain age of them proving to me that they understand the habits that I have taught them and the routines. Once they've learned the routine and understand those kind of things, then yes, I'm going to allow them at a certain age, once they're proven that they're responsible to do these things. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when it comes to the whole parenting overall, I do agree. And I completely agree. You want to be free range parenting. But free range parenting should not be instilled until you have taught them specific things. Once you've taught those specific things, thumbs up, let's rock and roll, we good. But this whole thing of I'm just going to give them all this at age like 5, 6, 7 years old, like maybe 7 or 8, maybe. And that depends on the maturity of that kid, of them understanding what's going on in the world. But I'm not finna give my kids that are 4 or 5 years old complete control, complete will of their decision making. Because for one, they have no clue if what they're deciding is right or wrong. They don't even know, to be honest with you, if you ain't taught them nothing or you ain't showing them or giving them the guidelines, they don't even know why they're doing it. They're just doing it because they feel instead of understanding the whys of their lives. You know what I'm saying? That's going to take a very important portion of their life when it comes to the understanding their purpose and the why as they get into their 15, 16, 17-year-old frame of mindset. Because I want to say age, but some kids are 17, 18 at 12 years old, where some kids that are 15 and 14 may have a 29 mindset. So we can't always base it off of that number of their age, but base that on the maturity of their actions and how they apply this information that you give them. Because I evaluate my kids that way. Just because one is the older, trust me, I have no problem pulling rank where I will demote my 18-year-old if she doesn't apply and successful. Hell, I can give that same role to my 11-year-old. She might be successful at it. Hey, guess what? She's promoted. Or hell, my 8-year-old, you know what I'm saying? He might apply something and approach something totally different. You see what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily age, but it's maturity. You know what I'm saying? But overall, man, I really want to say that the people she had a solid point of view, but the question is that complete independency safe though? No. I mean, you gotta understand that when every kid ain't the sharpest tool in the tool shed. So shit can happen to a point the way it can be deadly based off of you giving them that type of freedom. Like matter of fact, shit, like the incidents where kids be getting killed wrestling. You know what I'm saying? They doing backflips and they watching what the people on TV, and guess what? One kid break their neck. Or one kid break the other kid neck. And that shit actually happened. That shit actually happened. Why? Because we're giving them so much free will and so much freedom at an early age. They don't know what's real and what's fake and what's dangerous and what's not dangerous if we do not sit down with them, parent them in the sense of giving them the guidelines, giving them the do's and the don'ts. We can't allow them to make the do's and the don'ts if there's not nothing in place for them to understand which one is a do and which one isn't a don't. Like honestly, we gotta understand this. It's a lot of things that I've learned when I was younger. I thought it was good. And as I got older, I realized the shit that looked good was necessarily actually bad, and shit that was bad is actually good for me. So it's like if nobody is not in my life that I can truly trust and that can have the best intent for me in the right way and will give it to me raw without trying to kiss my ass and soften life up to where it looks so rainbowy, that they sit with me and they give me the true do's and don'ts of life. And I'm gonna take that for food. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna cherish it and I'm going to feed off that properly with self-awareness of how I move from day to day to day based off of the information that person just gave me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be able to move different. It allows me to move different versus if you dropping me in the jungle, middle of nowhere, and I have to figure it out. That's free parenting. You know what I'm saying? When I'm dropping you in the jungle in the middle of nowhere with no clues, no infrastructure, no nothing, and I gotta figure it out. And that's how it is when we have this mindset of free range, because you're creating your own little island to where your kids is going to redefine something that has no logic to it. So we got to be safe when it comes to how we apply this information. You see what I'm saying? It's very, very need that we have these talks. You know what I'm saying? Not just with our kids, but we need to have these talks with other parents. And I feel like that's why it's so important, why I want to do this show and talk about the things that we need to be advising and discussing with our kids. You know what I'm saying? But I want this guy to finish saying what he was saying.
And I think that's the wrong thing to do, because then ultimately it's probably going to reject that anyway.
Also, it depends on what we're talking about decisions about. Like if it's bedtime and you want your kids to be in bed at 8 o'clock, I think that is up to you. But I remember a time my son called me, he was 10 at the time, and he said, "Mom, can I have another piece of banana bread?" And I thought, I felt bad, because of course that's a very simple decision. They expected that I was the one to decide almost everything about what they were eating and doing, and I felt like there was something wrong, and that actually started me reevaluating things. And can they climb the tree? Just let them climb the tree.
And what's the worst that can happen? They break an arm?
Right. Yeah.
All right. I have a lot of things to disagree with what she said there. It sounded good until the shit didn't sound good. You know what I'm saying? That child did right calling you, ask you, "Hey, is this okay to eat?" Have anybody noticed like the weight shift of society? You know what I'm saying? Like the increase of obesity and health issues and diabetes and strokes, cholesterol problems. You know what I'm saying? Like these numbers have dramatically went up. So her example was so fucking awful because yes, once again, our kids need to learn the habits. Our kids need to learn these things of how what they need to eat, what time of the day they need to eat it, when they need to stop fucking eating. Okay, I need to stop eating at 8 p.m. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure our kids ain't gonna real or know that from jump. It's a reason why. Or if you're gonna eat that late, you need to have them went to the gym. How your kids gonna know that? You gotta talk to them, break it down to them, and get them in a habit of understanding that it's a habit. It can be a good habit. A bad habit is eating at night and going to sleep, or eating at night and you're not working nothing out. It's just storage. It's gonna become waste. But kids don't understand these things if we do not create a strict standard of how we're going to raise our kids. You know what I'm saying? So that was a horrible advice. That was a horrible example of how she put that to make it seem like, you know, he shouldn't have to ask me what to eat. Yeah, your kids do. Everything is not good for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Some things, hell, your kid might fuck around and grab some shit that they're allergic to, and they don't know. You know what I'm saying? They don't know because you didn't show them the outcomes. You didn't show them the wrong and the right. You know what I'm saying? So no, you don't. You don't put yourself in this position. That is the worst thing to do, is put yourself in that position. But at the same time, let's talk about this. When people say strict, we also got to understand that we have breaking points too, to where you can be so strict to where your kids become rebellious. You can be so free to where they're rebels and all over the place. And if you too tight, they're gonna break out and be rebellious and off the chain too. So it's a good, you know what I'm saying? You gotta. That's why I said there's no book to this. There's no book to this, but you gotta be able to know when you have went overboard and your kids are about to blow. You know what I'm saying? And that is by really paying attention to them, watching them, looking at them. Uh, where they're at the boiling point. You know what I'm saying? It be times where, you know what I'm saying, I know I'm very hard with my kids. I'm very stern. I'm very firm with a lot of approaches. But I do know when it's that shut the fuck up moment for me. You know what I'm saying? When I know like something has got them to the point of where they about to explode, and I just leave them the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? Like I know they're there, and that's by paying attention to your kids, watching them, just watching them, paying attention to them. Look at their mannerisms, their posture. You know what I'm saying? You know if you got them to that point, or if life overall have gotten them to that point. You know what I'm saying? Rough at school, they're trying to learn things and figure themselves out. You know what I'm saying? And they can be exhausted from that process. So it's very, very important to um just understand the breaking point. Don't be too hard to a point where they can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? At all. You know what I'm saying? Gotta allow them to breathe. Not let them breathe too much. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a limit. It should be a limit. Like when your kids leave the house, you better know where they at. You better know who they with. You better have hung out and spent time with that person that they was with. You know what I'm saying? I've never allowed my kids to go somewhere where I don't know the parents. You know what I'm saying? At all. Like I need to have met them, talk to them. I should have been in their house before my kids been in the house. So it's it's strict for the safety reasons. Um, but you don't want to be too strict for the the health and safety reasons. Because you want the kids to not be traumatized as they've gotten older. If you have bashed them while they was going through something dramatic in their life at the exact same time, that can be overwhelming to a kid. You see what I'm saying? It can be very, very, very overwhelming. Um, but I want to also say this: the question is there a gray area between all this that goes on? Is there an in between? Um, that we can just mush all this stuff together? Is it something that we can mush together? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I am very big on creating the strict parenting portion from the infant early stages to their like I say, I don't want to give a number of the strict parenting portion because the strict parenting portion is going to be based on the maturity level that that kid has achieved before you implement the free range parenting. You see what I'm saying? Some kids may be 12, some may be 17 or 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because some kids might still be at the house at that time. But it's not a number, you know what I'm saying, in per se when it comes to when to apply. But it is definitely a number when it comes to keeping the to placing the strict structure. You place it immediately as that kid pop out of that room out the womb and he's in life, you start applying the strict parenting motion. You apply, you create the bond, you create the trust, you create the connection. You apply all these things, and then you apply the rules, the consequences, the punishments, and things like that as they become one, two, three, four, five. You know what I'm saying? So those stages is very important to how you install the strict parenting, and you want to do it without creating any kind of sense of trauma through their processing of learning your system. It's very important for them to learn how to understand the system. You know, so hey, it's crazy, man. I want to say for me, if things was as it was, I would have been the type of kid to where I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. And I'm very appreciative. Like I had to create I had to come into the free range of thinking as a kid as I was younger. And I think I was probably in the 8, 9, 10 range of free range. Cause as I got older, it was a lot of decisions. The way I moved free as a bird. As I was younger, and it helped me in the sense of it definitely helped me when I got to college and I traveled and things like that because it helped with my confidence and my self esteem of who I was. It helped dramatically, and being able to deal with pressure and the outcomes without completely folding because we all fail. You know what I'm saying? I failed with a lot of things. I failed, got back up again, failed, got back up again. But I never gave up because I was confident. And I was confident because I built that foundation of my confidence and that high and my self-esteem when I was younger, based off of learning free range younger. And I would love for people to understand. I'm pretty sure I'm going to hope and push for that for all of mine is to start implying free range younger. Because the younger you apply it, the better. But it's gonna be so important that that child is mature early, and in order for us to get to them to that mind frame of maturity early, we have to raise them fat. We have to raise them and change the expectations bar to where things that you want your kids to be doing at 16 and 17, now you want them kids to do this stuff at 8 and 9. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just because the kids don't know. The kids don't know what you give them and how much you give it to them so they can adapt. You know what I'm saying? So if you give it to them slow and mediocre, that's how things are going to formulate with them as they grow. Because as we get older, pressure is applied to us to become who we are, from us becoming great at who we are or us becoming the worst version of who ourselves. It's all about us able to handle and adapt to what society and what the system apply to us or pressure us, and how we adjust to it, how we adjust to the odds and overcome it. And like I said, man, that's one reason why for me and mine, man, I'm writing, I'm keeping documentation of my life so they can understand. So things that I had to figure out, they kind of can get a good head start of how the things move, how life moves. By my brain, they can now see some of it, get some things in place so they can know how to walk without their eyes closed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of fathers think about. Think about how we doing this the right? Are we too tough? Are we too soft? Are we this? Are we that? And it's really important to evaluate by just writing it down. You know, man, go back, read, go back and evaluate how you moved and what you did that day with them, and what you taught them and how did they look, and was they excited, or did they do something where they was trying to get your attention? You know what I'm saying? To get that validation that, hey, I'm doing something right. We got to be able to evaluate these things in order to become a better set of parents. Um, on this note, it's very, very important. And I think a lot of us do not do our due diligence on the ABCs of understanding kids. Reason why? Because shoot, a lot of us don't even do the ABCDs of understanding self. And that alone is a hell of a journey. And once again, this is why I write things down and I keep documentation, not just from the kids, but for myself. Because sometimes I want to read back and I want to sit back and reflect to understand what was my mindset, why, and how did I decide these things in my life, the decisions, the wrong or the rights. What place of mind was I in when I made those decisions, and what influenced it? And the more we understand ourselves and can answer those questions, the better that we can answer those questions when our kids face these same dilemmas. Because one thing I wish is that I had somebody, and I did as I got like older in life, but I wish at the beginning of my life I had somebody where I can be able to break down and get those proper questions, where those questions answered properly, so I can fully understand where I went wrong or how that person went wrong and how can I avoid it. You know what I'm saying? How can I avoid it? Um, One thing I know I did implement and I paid more attention to was I paid attention to how my family moved, how my family members moved. I looked at certain mistakes they made. I looked at a lot of things, how they moved, and I took things that I liked and I took things I didn't like and I implemented that in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, I'm not gonna do that one, but I'll do that. I might do this one, but I'm damn sure ain't finna do that. And I grabbed that stuff and I piled it in my piggy bank in my brain. When those days come, I can implement those things. But I do want to say, man, like when it comes to parent, I think I'm gonna do another show on this in the future. But we got to be able to know how we're going to allow our kids to process and how to move. Are we going to approach it one way? Or are we going to approach it both ways? And how and when we're going to move? Do we sit down and talk about this? Not just every once in a while, but actually have productive discussions amongst friends and amongst people of how do we approach our kids and how do we move with them and how we make those decisions based off of our decisions. Because a lot of us make decisions for our own selfish gain without really understanding the losses that the kids may receive through the decisions that we make. So we have to be able to make and evaluate decisions on the benefit and the disadvantage of what comes ahead. But that's my point when it comes to the gray area. We got to evaluate how this can properly be combined together as one system and not just two. And we're going to do our final thought. Everybody wants to call it parenting just based off of the fact that you have a particular title. You have the mom title and you have the dad title. But guess what? All titles aren't used. You know what I'm saying? Certain people fill in positions and never even do their job. Or some people fill into a position and once they've gotten their title, they feel like they've already achieved what they've been shooting to get. I know a lot of guys, man, they've been working like 10, 20 years to get this one position. And when they get that position, they don't even fucking do the position at all. They just, once they got, the goal was to get it, not to like be good at, but just to get the title. In some cases, that's what it happens when it comes to this parenting thing is that some people will always want or go hard on achieving the title of mom or dad, but never truly had the thought of mothering the kid or fathering the kid, but just specifically having the title. The question is, how is that even logical or rational in a person's mind? Is what blows me. And I have to sit back and wonder, like a lot of people, for one, when we go into situations that we make decisions, we're making the wrong decisions based off the wrong intent in the first place. And that intent is to move with no kind of understanding, but just sheer nothingness. And when you move with sheer nothingness and then you get something in place of what you're not even understanding what you're moving for, then it causes a shift in your life to where everything becomes like it becomes pure chaos. It becomes pure chaos because there was no A, B, C, D in place of how you move. It was just sheer nothingness. And as kids, a lot of us get in situations outcomes occur. And when these outcomes occur, as we're becoming who we are, things happen in our life that shifts our direction of how we operate. And that comes from death, life, you know what I'm saying? And the even just the sheer mindset of I don't give a fuck. All those three things can be very rough if you're not aware or prepared. People say, shit, you can never be prepared for death. Shit, I disagree. You can be very prepared for death. You can be very understanding that, hey, it's going to come. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've even had made peace with that. Like, hey, there's one reason why I'm preparing. I'm writing. I'm investing. I see more future because I accept what will happen. You know what I'm saying? I accept what will happen, and I know that at some point all of us will have that day, and I've accepted that. You know what I'm saying? But we all got to be able to not understand that, but understand what happens after that happens, and that's where true parenting, true planning is very needed for us when it comes to us fathers and mothers out there that are doing the mothering and the fathering. We got to understand that it's not just about what you do in the present scheme, but it's how you plan and prepare effectively for their future so things doesn't have such of a negative impact of their lives. It's about the planning of the just in case, not just about what I'm doing, but what I need to do for the just in case moment. Um, so when it comes to the free range parenting and strict parenting, I feel like the strict part is important when it comes to being strict, not just on the kids, but being strict on yourself when it comes to how you parent your kid. You know what I'm saying? It's not just accountability of how they act, but it's the accountability of how you act. So with that being said, man, there's nothing more to be said. I feel like that should hold it right there. Parenting is a give and take. It takes what you give, and they will give their appreciation. And sometimes it can be verbal or nonverbal, but it's there. But hey, it's been a good one tonight. I enjoyed the talk. And with that being said, check out your boy, check out the rest of the videos. Thank you for everything. Let's continue to be a better version of self. Let's continue to have these conversations. Let's continue to have conversations to where it's not about ass kicking, ass kissing. It's about understanding reality and how we really are living. Because we sugarcoating too much information. We're making it sound way too damn soft. We are not being honest with ourselves. We're living too much of a lie. Let's continue to recreate and be realistic. Peace and love, everybody. I'm out.